Hello, my darling, and welcome to another episode of Glimmer Side Chats with me, Annie Eclectic. Here we talk about all sorts of stuff, don't we? I generally just let my mind flow and it comes out of my mouth. But this podcast has primarily been brought to you by myself and the Glimmer Seekers. The Glimmer Seekers is a collective that I created for business owners, or passion business owners as we call ourselves, who are not into the chase of six figures. What we're into is the chase of a happy life. We just want to be able to do our passions and we want to be able to pay our bills with it. If six figures happens, then amazing. But that's not the aim of the game. And within the Glimmer Seekers, we look at alternative ways to do things that are a bit less traditional and kind of just a little bit more aimed towards those of us who have got neurospicy brains. Because the traditional way of doing things just doesn't work for us. I spend a lot of my time exploring different energies and how we can use those and kind of utilize the structures within nature for us to flow through our businesses. So over the past couple of weeks, I created a course called, I created the first part of the course. So this course is going to be about flowing through the seasons and the seasonal energy and how we can apply that to our business. And the first part is called Wintering, Questing and Reflection. And we focus on looking at things like celebration, letting go, and friction, and how those things affect us in our businesses. And then from there, part 2 will be about finding guides and things that we can utilize to take us through the rest of the year, and also doing goal setting in reflection. So looking at those things that we identified in the first part, placing them into the Glimmer Seeker goal setting structure, and from that point, we should then be able to flow that through into spring, where we start to do grow setting. I just came up with that. I love that, grow setting. So we're going to sack off goal setting. We're going to call it grow setting. That's amazing. Thanks, guys. Cheers for that. As you can see, you've got my face again, and it is solely because my partner bought me a sunset lamp, and I love it so much. It does all sorts of different colours. I'm not going to mess with it too much. My beautiful, trusty microphone is having some issues. I feel like I need to get a new cable for it or something, because it seems to just really enjoy cutting out. So if it feels like I'm talking quick, it's because I'm trying to get it all done before it cuts out, because it's already done it once whilst I was doing the setup. So I kind of wanted to talk to you about a little thing that I've been doing over the last week or two. And this is all thanks to my wonderful friend Emma. She is a dietitian with a difference. She's a dietitian and she works in focus on children and their nutrition and stuff. And my son has needed some help. I've needed some help, and she's been absolutely amazing on that. And we've really just kind of supported each other over the last kind of year or so that we've known each other. And she challenged me to do 7 days of posting about things that I do in my business. Now, when she first said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do this. I'm now on like day 12, so I've gone well over, and I'm still going. Like, I don't seem to be able to stop. And it's been one of the most enlightening things that I've done in a really, really long time. And it's also been a massive confidence builder. So I really feel like, why don't you do this too? I've challenged the Glimmer Seekers. I've said to them, please do this challenge. Please do it. Do it in whatever way works for you. Obviously, you're only going to do it in the way that flows for you, and that is the way to do it. And I've done the same for me. And it's really helped me approach social media in a slightly different way, because there's been a purpose and it's kind of been gamified, which is a term that I've taken from Kim Bliss. She's amazing. Go find her on YouTube. You'd love her. She made this hat. It's insane. I love it. I have matching gloves as well. But yeah, she calls it gamifying. So for those of us who do have lovely neurospicy brains, it's like it's a challenge. It's giving me a game. And for those of us who have neurospicy brains, we do tend to have interest-based nervous systems. So in order for us to do a thing, we kind of need it to be like a quest or an adventure or a challenge or something kind of competitive, that brings that kind of element of urgency to it. And it's worked so well. And I'm definitely going to be bringing like challenges like this into the Glimmer Seekers. But one of the things is it's done is it's really made me face up to some of the stuff that I do. It's very easy to do these things, and it's also very easy to be kind of quite self-depreciating, and not feel confident in the things that you know that you're really good at. And for me, I quite often feel like I don't want to admit the things that I do because it makes me feel like I'm being conceited, when actually all I'm doing is just doing the things that I can do. So in today's post, I put that I'm a writer, and I don't think I've ever actually said out loud or in text or in any form of admittance. I put that I'm a writer, and that's something that felt very, very brave for me, because I went through a lot of my school years with teachers just being like, what is wrong with you? I wish I could go back now and say ADHD. But you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But I just don't understand the structure of English. Like, you know, if you asked me what a verb was or an adjective or any of those things, I just couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you the definition. There was not space in my brain to hold that piece of information. And I would be told that I had to start writing in such a chatty way. To the point that I really, really did stop writing in such a chatty way. And I feel like that really made me falter in quite a big way, really. And it meant that I struggled quite a bit through school, because it meant that I wasn't really able to communicate what it was that I was trying to say, because my natural way of writing is quite chatty. If you've ever read my content, then you will know exactly what I mean. So admitting that I am a writer has been quite a large admittance, a large thing to say. This is something that I do. But it is something that I do. I love writing. If you follow my social media, you would probably tell me I write a mini blog every day. And yes, don't worry, I do actually have all of these saved, and they probably will make their way onto the new website at some point in some way. And possibly even to the Glimmer Seekers, in some way that hopefully will help others to find their way to doing these things as well. And the other aspect of what I do that I wanted to admit to today, that I actually had originally included in that post, but I removed, was that I am a speaker. Whew. And saying that out loud, like, feels like big anxiety, but quite a huge piece of relief. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I can only tell you what I can tell you. But I have always kind of suffered with quite a bit of performance anxiety. Performance anxiety has been a big thing in me from a really young age, and there is a moment in my life that has stuck with me for, well, since it happened, and I think I was about 4 or 5. I became, in certain circles, known as the arguing angel. And it was in a play, so a nativity play, I do believe. And we were I think we were in year 1 at primary school. So I was known as the arguing angel. We were like, I don't know, 5, 6 years old, something like that. and I was meant to stand up and do a line, and I got very, very anxious and worried about it, and I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. And my friend was supposed to stand up with me and say the line with me. It's cutting out. My friend was supposed to stand up with me and say the line with me, and we were doing it's dress rehearsal. So this is how uninvolved in this type of thing I became. I believe it's called a dress rehearsal, you know, when you do the performance first and then you go live. Um, and in the dress rehearsal, oh, maybe it wasn't even the dress rehearsal. I know there was a lot of people there. There was a lot of people there. And I stood up to say my line, and my friend did not stand up with me. I believe she thought she was meant to just say the line from sitting down, and that was not the impression that I had got from the arrangement. And I turned around and had a massive argument with her on stage in the middle of this play about whether she was meant to stand up with me to do this performance. And that was the last time that I performed on stage. I've sung in choirs, I've done solos and stuff, but I was never completely confident with that, and after a couple of times I didn't want to do it. I enjoyed being in a choir, I enjoyed working as part of a team in that aspect, but no. When it came to doing plays, I was the one dressed in black doing sets and helping people get changed behind the scenes from that point on, because the thought of getting up on stage like that just made me want to vomit. It was horrendous. It was so bad. And ever since then, I have just had this incredible fear of being on stage. And it's not until recently that I've realised that it's not about being on stage per se. It's more about doing something that somebody else has told me to do. So performing something that somebody else has prepared. Whereas like here, I am just speaking. I'm just speaking my mind. I do not script anything. I don't script anything. And I know that if I scripted something, I would then get that performance anxiety and I would not be able to do it. But I do feel like I have quite a strong voice. I have quite a strong performance presence. And that part of me has been squashed for a very, very long time. I learned to play the piano and I couldn't play in front of people. My partner tried to teach me how to play the drums, and he would show me how to do a certain part, and he would have to go into the other room for me to be able to do it on the drums, and he would listen from the other room and then tell me the bits that I'd done wrong, show me it again, and he'd have to... It's terrible, absolutely terrible. But speaking like this, totally fine. Going live on Instagram, I was totally fine with that. Talking to the guys in the Glimmer Seekers, absolutely no problem. Even when I was a retail manager and standing up in front of a team and speaking to them, absolutely fine. Public speaking when at university, for some reason, totally fine. Like, what? Someone explain it to me, seriously. And so I thought, rather than writing a post about it, and maybe I'll write one tomorrow. In fact, I will do the challenge post about being a speaker when I put it live and do it as a reel to get people to come and listen to this. You know, because it would be good if people did come and listen to this or watch it or whatever. But yeah, I am a speaker. And one of the reasons that I really want to bring that to light, and I really want to kind of admit to it and give myself the freedom and the liberation that admittance can, is because for quite some time now, every time I do my vision path, what do I call it? Every time I do my vision path meditation or journey, it does grow, but each time that I do it, I am at some point on a stage speaking to a lot of people. And I mean, if you want the details, I'm on a stage with a lot of people and I've got a really funny outfit on that when I spin, it looks like all different mushroom tops. So, I mean, that's a thing in itself, isn't it? But it is just this vision just keeps coming up and up and up and up. And I remember when I first started setting up the Glimmer Seekers collective, I said that one of the things that I will do that will come from this is that I will do a TED talk. And in order for me to get there, at some point, I need to find the space within myself to be able to say I am a speaker. Because if I can't do that, how am I going to find myself speaking in places? You know, it's all part of the journey. And today, as I'm recording, is the dark moon. And if I was to kind of talk to you about the energy that I am bringing into it and why it is that I'm admitting these two quite difficult things on this day, is because the dark moon is like the proper mega letting go stage. You know, we've been letting go from in that waxing stage, waning stage, not waxing, the waning stage between the full moon and the new moon. We have the new moon coming tomorrow. It's the dark moon today. And the dark moon is like that last opportunity to really cut things out. I nearly said a naughty word then. Cut things out that you really just don't need. So three things have come of today's dark moon. One, I have admitted that I am a writer. And you're going to be like, how is that cutting something out? Well, what it's cutting out is it's me going back to little me and saying, right, you can write, you have your own voice, you are allowed to do the things that you want to do. And those things that people told you is monkey pants. Like, it's not. No. We're not having that. We're cutting that out. You do you. You have the passion. You have the ability. People enjoy reading your writing clearly because people respond to it and they respond in a really positive fashion. So, you are a writer. Part of you is a writer, and that is a form of communication. Communication and community is one of the biggest things for me. One of the biggest things for me. So, cutting that out. We're cutting out the negative speak. We are getting rid of the perception of not being able to do something because somebody else put it there. And the same with speaking. I have recognised that, yeah, there are certain aspects I cannot and will not perform. I am not a performer. I'm not an actor. I'm not a performing singer. I cannot do those things. And I don't want to. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. But I can speak. I do have a voice. I enjoy communicating with people in that way. I enjoy expressing myself in that way. I do not enjoy how much this microphone is cutting out. I'm going to have to do a lot of editing on this. I'm very upset about it. And the other thing that I am cutting out that I've decided today, I have chatted with the guys who are in the higher tier, in the Let's Grow tier of the Glimmer Seekers. I am going to get rid of the Glimmer Seekers website. And I'm going to move the membership, the collective membership, over to Patreon. Why I didn't do that in the first place, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've tried to do a Patreon before and it didn't go so well. But Patreon is a vehicle for doing memberships. Yes, it has its foibles. Everything does. But I did my wintering and reflection, questing and reflection. And the biggest problem is the website of the Glimmer Seekers. I do not enjoy where I've got it hosted. I do not enjoy the persistent emails from the person who has created it. I it was something that I needed at the time, and I have so much gratitude for the fact that it was there when I needed it, but I no longer need it, so I'm going to let go of that. And that's 1, 2, 3 things, quite big things, I feel, that I'm letting go in this dark moon. So that's about it, really. And I'm not sure that I can take any more of this microphone faltering before I try and throw it across the room, which wouldn't be a good thing, would it? I'm actually going to lose this microphone in a minute. I just made this noise. So I really am going to say goodbye now. I really hope you've got something from this. I hope you enjoyed the lighting. I flipping did. And let me know, what are you letting go of? Have you tried the questing in reflection part 1 of the winter section of the seasonal guide? If not, I will put it in the description, so there will be a link for the PDF guide and a link to the playlist that is for it. At the minute, it's all public, completely free. No, I don't want any emails, none of that. I just really want you to pick it up, take a look, see what it does. You don't even have to have a business for it to be helpful, to be quite honest. So please have at it. I'd love to know what you think. So far, everybody who has flowed through the process has had some really interesting revelations and had a really positive experience with it. So if that's of any interest to you, then please have at it. And I sincerely hope that it helps you in some way. I'm going to go before it cuts out again. Remember to find your glimmers, love them, hold them, save them for later, and I will see you in the next episode. Okay, over and out. Bye!